Hey Storm fans, today we're playing the best High Tide Mind's Desire list featuring Fairies, Snap, and Mind's Desire. This is what you want to be doing if you're going to play this deck. Why is this the best build? It might not be obvious, but if you watch Jordan Kareem's stream of High Tide Mind's Desire here on this channel, you can find that in the card above. You would have noticed that sometimes the deck was a little slow to get off the ground. It was a little bit clunky. You can also check out the videos that both of my podcast co-hosts have uploaded on their respective channels. But I think you'll find that High Tide with Turnabout is just really awkward because you need 3 lands. Well, you want 3 lands anyway, but basically you have to have like a perfect setup. So you High Tide, you Turnabout, and then you Desire for 3, or you cast Time Spiral for 3. It's not great. So with this list, obviously we have High Tide, right? The key signature of this deck. We have Faeries and Snap to generate efficient and cheap storm spells while also making you mana into Mind's Desire, so that way you have a desire greater than 3. We also have Sapphire Medallion to reduce the cost of Mind's Desire, but more importantly, it reduces the cost of Fairies and Snap to generate mana. In fact, the Sapphire Medallion is so good that you don't even need High Tide in some games. You can just win without it because you can go Fairies, Snap, Fairies, Mind's Desire without even needing to find the High Tide. Sapphire Medallion is a huge upgrade for this archetype, and you're going to see that in today's video. You might notice there's a lack of Cunning Wish. I don't actually think that card is super helpful. Other lists are playing Fae of Wishes. You lose a reasonable sideboard in order to play a giant wish board that ultimately isn't very effective. The cards that use most out of it are the Brain Freeze and the Blue Sun Zenith. We can just play those in our main deck and then gain a full sideboard. I know that's a controversial take, but it's what I believe, and that's my deck tech, so I will see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We're on the draw, and I will keep. I love this hand. We have Fairies, we have the Sapphire Medallion. We do have to find land number 2, but we have plenty of those in our deck, and we have a couple cantrips to help us out. Alright, turn 1, Basic Swamp, Thoughtseize. I am not going to force a will that. They can discard a card. I'm not even sure what the right pick is here, so good luck to them figuring that out. They go after the Sapphire Medallion. I'm okay with that. We'll draw for turn. We find another Sapphire Medallion. Thoughtseize bug! And people like to pretend that it's not real. It's definitely real. Come on. What are the odds? What are the odds? This is insane. We will keep. Okay. So we'll pass the turn here. Next turn, we want to play Sapphire Medallion. And then, hypothetically, let's say we wanted to try to win. We could cast High Tide Fairies. Untap 2. They'll give us 4 mana into Spirals. We're 1 short. Liliana of the Veil. I'm going to Force of Will this. We'll get rid of Brainstorm. 2 for 2. They traded Dark Ritual Liliana. We traded Force of Will Brainstorm. I will now play the other Sapphire Medallion. Pass. The original list that I mocked up today only had 3 medallions. But it's only because I was stuck at 61 cards and I couldn't figure out what else to do. And I ultimately decided that I'd rather play 3 Merchant Scroll, because if you look at how the deck is constructed nowadays, you have High Tide, you have Snap, you have your Blue Sun Zenith and Brain Freeze. But realistically, there's not that many great Merchant Scroll targets after High Tide. You could play an Intuition, but we have 4 Desire, 4 Time Spiral, 3 Lorians, or I'm sorry, 4 Lorians revealed. You don't really need to Merchant Scroll for action that often, and if you do, you can probably just Brainstorm into it. So I decided to go down on a copy of Merchant Scroll. We're only playing 3 of those today. And now we're going to High Tide. And then I'll cast Fairies. 1 blue. Was I wrong? Could I have spiraled last turn? Hold up. I think I forgot about, yeah, I could have spiraled last turn. I forgot about the Sapphire Medallion reducing the Fairies already. So we could have gone Island, Fairies floating 1, untap Spiral. I punted last turn. We didn't need to wait. So I could desire for 3 here. I've already played a land. I think it's just safer to time spiral instead. Alright, storm number 3. Bowmasters, that's not very nice. Goodbye, Cloud of Faeries. And they choose to not go after the Cloud of Faeries. So we can pick up our Cloud of Faeries here with the triggers on the stack. Okay. I mean, I could also just snap the Bowmasters, which might be better. Yeah, I'm probably just supposed to get rid of the Bowmasters. Okay, they're making a giant orc. Also, no respect to my Cloud of Faeries, apparently. Let's snap the Bowmaster. Untap, untap. Also, getting to play 4 snap in your main deck to deal with Orcish Bowmasters is a huge upgrade as well. Not having to care about that card as often. We'll play another Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Let's hardcast Lorien Revealed. Another High Tide. Let's tap. Cast another Lorien Revealed. Another High Tide. Let's Brainstorm. Put back 2 lands. Tap. High Tide. Snap my Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Make some more mana. We'll play Cloud of Faeries. This already feels so much better than Turnabout. I might be biased, but it seems a lot better. Merchant Scroll. We will go get Brain Free. Cast Ponder. Mind's Desire. Don't mind if I do. And the opponent concedes. Boom! I mean, I could have had a turn 3 there, even with a missed land drop, but I was a dummy and didn't see the math. Deal with it. I won anyway. So we're facing Mono Black. This is a matchup where I think we probably want Echoing Truth and Chain of Vapor. I don't know if we need the filter out here. We're at 62 cards. I think we can shave 1 Sapphire Medallion and 1 Merchant Scroll. Let's try this. Lorien Revealed is a part of your mana base because we're only playing 15 lands in today's list. So if you board out a Lorien Revealed, it's like you're boarding out a land. Game number 2, we're on the draw. We have a 1-lander, but we do have Lorien Revealed as our second land. I believe we'll keep this. Our opponent with an aggressive mulligan to 5. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, you've got it. They have 3 cards remaining. I believe the pick here is Lorien Revealed, and if you don't want to take that, it's Ponder. Or if they have Surgical Extraction, I understand going after High Tide. That said, as I mentioned in the deck tech that a lot of you skip over, you should probably watch those because they explain the deck, but if they take the High Tide and Surgical, we can just win with Sapphire Medallion without ever even needing High Tide. Alright, I don't want to show them that I drew an island, so we'll fetch. And Ponder. Shuffle that, we don't need those. A 3rd Mind's Desire, yikes. Brainstorm, where are you? Hem to Torok, and they hit our 2nd land. Brutal. Alright, we'll cycle Lorien Revealed. Grab an island. We'll play the island and pass the turn. Another Hem. I'm going to pick the 2 cards that I discard. Because I don't need 2 copies of Mind's Desire. They have 2 cards now, so their mulligan to 5 looking pretty good at the moment. Play Flooded Strand and we'll pass the turn. High Tide would get us there, because we could tide Cloud of Faeries into Desire for 3. They play Urza's Saga. Another Hem, wow. Thoughtseize into triple Hem to Torok. That's just brutal. Okay. We have drawn Snap. And they draw and pass. We draw Merchant Scroll. I'll play the Scroll. Go grab High Tide. Pass the turn. So now if I draw Mind's Desire or Time Spiral, we can cast it, assuming that they create a construct. Okay, so they'll draw and then Saga triggers. Let's see if they decide to make another. They do. We will fetch, just in case they try to grab Needle here. We have 4 Time Spiral and 1 Mind's Desire left in our deck as payoffs. They grab a Retrofitter Foundry, and they attack for 3. We'll follow the 14 life here. They have 3 cards remaining in hand. Time Spiral. Okay, well, if we draw anything now, we're in business. I think I'm actually going to cycle this Cloud of Faeries just because we have to draw into an action spell. They're going to activate the Retrofitter Foundry to pump up their constructs. I'm okay with taking 8 here. We fall to 6 life. On their end step, cycle the Faeries. Echoing Truth, that certainly deals with constructs. There we go. Alright, High Tide. And then we will snap a construct. Untap, untap. Tap for 6. Time Spiral. Are we going to get to beat their nuts start of Thought Season to triple Hymnatorok? Looking pretty good. Sapphire Medallion. Okay. And now we'll Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Make some more mana. Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Let's snap their construct. Untap, untap. Echoing Truth, the Retrofitter Foundry. And then we'll make a bunch of mana here. Cast Time Spiral. Storm 9. Beautiful. Cast another High Tide. Hardcast. Oh, hold on. Let's Sapphire Medallion first. Hardcast Lorien revealed. Ponder. Keep the High Tide. Cast the Tide. Mind's Desire for 15. I'm here to party. And to think, at one point this game we had no hand, 3 lands, and now we're just, you know, having our way with our opponent, who opened on Thoughtseize triple Hymnatorok. This is how we do. I told you that Snap Cloud of Faeries was better than Turnabout, and I'm willing to bet that some of you didn't believe me. I don't know why you wouldn't believe me. I'm very honest. And with that honesty, we are 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're on the draw, and we will keep. I don't know what Tiki Dan plays, but I don't want to mulligan aggressively with this deck. I do think it's a deck that punishes you for mulliganing too much, because you do need a lot of resources in order to win. So we're going to try to keep hands that, you know, get to play Magic. Here we have 2 lands, we have the Medallion, and it looks like they're on the Black Helm deck. People love their basic swamps, huh? Yeah, Dark Ritual. Gothy Voidwalker, that's fine. They have 2 cards left in their hand. We'll draw for turn. We draw another Sapphire Medallion. I don't know if we actually need that, but our opponent's deck is an opposition agent deck, so we're not going to wait to fetch. We're going to try to just get them out of the way immediately. And you might be worried about our opponent being able to use fetch lands. I mean, they're welcome to try to search for an island or a plains. One thing to note about today's deck list, I'm a huge fan of splitting your fetch lands. So that means splitting them out. Today I'm choosing to not... Ooh, Thoughtseize here is actually kind of brutal. We're going to let that happen. I'm choosing to not play Polluted Delta, because Polluted Delta is a sure sign in Legacy that you're playing combo. And I thought that it's a little more deceptive to be playing Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, and Scalding Tarn. It's not that I don't own Deltas or don't want to play them. I think it's just slightly wrong to be playing them in your deck, because a split between 2-2-2-2 isn't necessarily that much better than 3-3-3. So that's my thought process. And they took our Lorien revealed, leaving us with Force of Will. Okay, draw. They have 1 card in hand. I'd like to draw a blue card. We did. All right, we're going to start playing Sapphire Medallions over the next few turns. So we'll take 1 going to 15. Grab the island. Play Sapphire Medallion and pass the turn. When you have multiple Sapphire Medallions in play, it also makes it reasonable for you to just hard cast Time Spiral without ever needing a High Tide. 4 mana, is this a Helm? It is, and our opponent could have taken Force of Will last turn, but chose not to. Here, I'm going to counter their Helm because they chose not to take Force of Will. We'll take a hit for 3, going to 11 life. Merchant Scroll. Okay. So we'll play the Medallion. And I might as well cast this turn. What would we like to grab? Blue Sun Zenith could be card advantage. It would be a draw 3. I don't hate it. Alright, we'll get a Blue Sun Zenith. Pass the turn. They play another Ancient Tomb. They have no hand. We'll take a hit from the Gothy Voidwalker, going down to 8 life. We'll draw. Snapper Clodofaries would be amazing here. Lorien Revealed is not bad either. Alright, so I can cast the Lorien Revealed for 3. Let's do that. Ponder. Another Lorien Revealed. I think I like that. We'll pass the turn. Our opponent could sacrifice their Dothy here to try to Lorien Revealed. Karn the Great Creator. I'm going to allow Karn to resolve. It doesn't affect us whatsoever. And our Sapphire Medallions do still work with a Karn in play. They activate the Karn. And they grab a Liquid Metal Coating. So this will turn off one of my lands next turn. I think that's fine. What's in our exile? Oh, none of these cards are underneath Dothy because of Leyline of the Void. I don't think that they can actually cast any of these. We go to 5 life. Sure. And in hindsight, I probably wasn't supposed to keep this fetch. I guess I didn't know that they were going to Liquid Metal Coating because I can't fetch and have Force of Will. Let's draw 3. So I can snap the Dothy. That buys me a little bit of time here. Grab an island. Snap the Dothy Voidwalker. Untap, untap. And now we can ponder. Ooh, Clodofaries. I like all of these. We'll keep. And then ponder. Okay. Pass the turn. They use Karn's ability to get an artifact out of their sideboard. They could go for Lattice here, or they could go for Helm. They choose Helm. Sure, my land is now an artifact. That's fine. We will Force of Will the Helm. Exiling Brainstorm. You could exile the Blue Sun Zenith, but then that leaves me with only Brain Freeze, and if something goes awry, I don't want to be punished. Because the Brainstorm isn't that valuable. Okay, so they drew Dark Ritual for turn. They can replay the Dothy. We don't even care about that. Now it's time to party. Merchant Scroll. We'll go grab a High Tide. Play the High Tide. Clodofaries. Untap 2 lands. How much mana do we have here? Desire costs 4. We'll target ourselves with Blue Sun Zenith. Let's leave 1 open. This would be 2 open, so I'll draw 3, and I'll have 1 open mana. That's fine. Alright, so we'll play another Clodofaries. Untap, untap. Let's bounce the Voidwalker. Untap, untap. And then we can Mind's Desire for 7. Force of Will, Brainstorm, a Spiral, Clodofaries, another Clodofaries, High Tide. Alright, so we're going to play the land because when we Spiral, we don't want to redraw into it. So let's cast the Time Spiral. Oh, I forgot to float mana. It's fine. We're so far ahead. And now we can High Tide. My bad. I should have floated mana. It doesn't really matter. Like, I've already won this game, but it's something I should have done. Play another Clodofaries. I will admit I don't own sets of foil Japanese Clodofaries. I feel like I need to change that after this. We have 17 cards on our deck. We might as well cast Mind's Desire, right? Here we go. There's the Blue Sun Zenith. And our opponent gets bored and concedes. Yeah, that's what you deserve. I mean, your opponent's playing Karn the Great Creator. They can watch me combo. They signed up for that. In this matchup, we definitely want the... Why is my hover so weird? We definitely want Force of Negation. So we'll board those in. We likely want some number of bounce spells as well. Maybe an Echoing Truth, a Chain of Vapor. So we're at 66 cards right now. We have to figure out what we're going to board out. I think Merchant Scroll is a card that I'm looking to get rid of. It's a consistency card in a matchup that is very fast. And then we're at 63. We can likely shave 1 Sapphire Medallion. And then I'm going to do 1 of each payoff. It seems wrong to board those out, and I completely understand it. But what else can you really take out? Like, we're already so compact, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that you don't really have a whole lot of other options. And having 8 top-end payoffs is a lot, and 6 will get the job done. Also hedges a little bit against things like Survival. This seems okay. Turn 0, Leyline of the Voids. No graveyard synergies here. Turn 1, Snow-Covered Swamp, and they pass. So by playing out both, they do sort of dodge my Chain of Vapor that I opened. We draw a Desire. We're just going to search for our second land here off Ponder. Okay. And we found it. I guess okay, hindsight, I just messed up. I should have drawn the forest and put the land on top, because if they play Helm here, it's a little bit awkward. Or if they discard my land. They discarded Time Spiral, Brainstorm. Okay. Like, I'm about to draw a Cloud of Faeries, I think, that I need to be a Force Negation. Yeah, I just completely botched that. Take the Force and we'll leave Brainstorm on top. I could have been punished there. So far, we're averaging a play mistake per round at least. At least. I'm not going to count the floating mana thing in game 1. I had already won that game. I needed to cast more spells. Thoughtseize. Yeah, you got it. They take the Force. I'm not surprised. Now we're drawing Brainstorm. We know that our top card is the Sanctuary. We don't really want that. And I don't think we want the Chain of Vapor. So what I'm going to do here is play Sapphire Medallion and then pass the turn. And next turn we have a Desire for 3. Assuming our opponent does not kill us. Alright, pass the turn. They have 3 cards in hand. They fetch with their Delta. They play an Urborg. Helm of Obedience. Okay, so they're telling me I need to win now. Let's see what our draw step is. Snap. Ponder. I don't know if we have enough mana to play the Ponder. We'll find out. Like, you could also start on Ponder looking for High Tide. But I don't know if we have enough for that. We might. So this is 3, 4, 5. I'm just not used to playing Snap Sapphire decks. We have exactly 5. So if I Ponder and miss, we just lose. I guess maybe I should have started on Ponder. Because if I found High Tide, it would have been better. So here, Ponder would have to find land 4, Snap, or Cloud of Faeries. It's worth casting the Ponder. I should have started on this. And we completely bricked. Oh my. We have to shuffle, right? Like, we have to shuffle this? Wow. Yeah, shuffle. Punished. Or no, hold on. Not punished. Just dumb. I am just dumb. Alright. We completely messed up this turn, but... Okay, Desire for 5. Into another Desire. I told you, at least one. And we get to Echoing Truth here, too. Let's get rid of their ley lines. And then Desire for 7. I don't want to spiral if I don't have to. Okay, so let's start with Lorien Revealed. We'll cast that. Cloud of Faeries. Untaps. Float some mana. Snap Cloud of Faeries. Tap, untap. Make more mana. Play Cloud of Faeries. Imagine if someone good was playing this deck. I imagine that they could true. Not me, though. Lorien Revealed. Ooh, another Desire. That's what I'm here for. Alright. Snap Cloud of Faeries again. Untap. Play Cloud of Faeries. This is so much fun. Let's Chain of Vapor the Helm. And now we can Mind's Desire for the rest... Oh no, my bad. It's not the rest of our deck. I was looking at my life total for a second and thought that was the number of cards in the deck. We have 24 cards left, so we're going to reveal most of our library here. So this is a turn 4 through Thoughtseize, Hymn to Torok, and Ley Lines. Not that Ley Lines are super good, but, I mean, they were a slight inconvenience. They threaten lethal. Play an island, some Sapphire Medallion, cast a Lorien Revealed, and another Lorien Revealed. One has 49 cards. Wonder what the last card is. It's Brain Freeze? We'll cast Brain Freeze with, Ponder with 1 card left in our deck. I would like to shuffle my deck. Oh wow, we drew Brain Freeze. That's crazy. We will now deck our opponent using Brain Freeze. So the one downside of Mind's Desire, and this is a real small thing, is that the Blue Sun Zenith cannot be paid for with X. So I could target our opponent for 0 cards and then shuffle Blue Sun Zenith into my deck. And then from there, we have no library other than the Blue Sun Zenith. So I can't cast Brainstorm or else I lose the game. But what I can do is I can snap my Cloud of Faeries and then cycle the Cloud of Faeries into the Blue Sun Zenith and actually deck them. Or make them lose the game by drawing a card with no cards left in library. So that is how I would win that if our opponent did not concede. But instead, we've beaten 2 mono black decks in the first 2 rounds, and we are 2-0. I will see you in the 3rd match. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Can you believe it? We get to be on the play. It's the 3rd match. I have no idea what our opponent's playing, and we've opened up no lands. Send it back. Okay, this hand's pretty good. What this hand needs is a payoff, and then it's going to go straight to the moon. What we don't need is this Merchant Scroll. So we're going to bottom this, and then we're going to ponder looking for our 2nd land. Alright, so our opponent's kept 7. We're going to bottom the Merchant Scroll. Okay, let's play some Magic. High Tide. Combo. Island. Ponder. These are beautiful. We like all of these. Keep, keep, keep. So the one downside here is I feel like our opponent's a blue player, but I might be misremembering, and they are. So we have no protection for the spiral that's on top of our deck. Alright, play the Medallion. They grab an Underground Sea. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Pass. The nice thing here is that we've hidden the spiral on top, and they're just passing with 7 in hand. I think we'll pass as well. On their end step, I guess I could cycle the Cloud of Faeries now. Yeah, I guess we'll cycle now, because if I draw a 3rd land, I want to be able to play it. Okay, we have to pass. Orcish Bowmasters, you got it. We need to find a Force of Will here. They brainstorm, polluted Delta, and now they attack, so we'll go to 17. Force of Will, okay. High Tide. They're going to fetch in response. They grab an island. 2 mana. Petty Theft. I think I have to force this. Hold on, I'm thinking here. So, I could snap the Bowmasters. Let it resolve. That might work. Yeah, I think that works. Let's attempt to snap the Bowmaster. Untap, untap. And now we can let the Petty Theft happen. High Tide. We'll replay the Sapphire Medallion. Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Tap for 2. So here's... I mean, this is a little greedy. I could also just snap the Orc Army and play around Snuff Out. I think that's the move. Actually, no, I was supposed to go after the Cloud of Faeries, because if they force this... yeah, I couldn't force back. And if I bounce the Cloud of Faeries, I have a blue card to pitch. So that was a misplay. Deck's tough. It is very difficult to play correctly. I also am not used to playing this version of the deck, so there's bound to be some misplays. Let's start off with a Ponder here. Another Spiral. I think I like that. And now we'll Merchant Scroll. Go grab a Tide. Play Tide. Tap for mana. Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Tap for mana. Let's Lurien Revealed. High Tide. How much do these tap for? 4 right now, which is enough to cast a Spiral. Let's Lurien Revealed. Beautiful. That was perfect. Alright, so Cloud of Faeries, untap, untap. And now we can snap a Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Replay Cloud of Faeries. Okay, so now the Cloud of Faeries happens. Storm's 18. And I can Merchant Scroll for Brain Freeze now and deck them. Target you. I feel like I got away with one this game. I misplayed, and our opponent didn't have a Force of Will. I'll take it. Alright, so we've taken game number 1 from this Dimir tempo deck. In these matchups, I actually really like Pact Negation, which is why I put them in the sideboard. It's even better against Delver decks because it helps you fight Pyroblast effectively, but it's just a great card in general. In these matchups, I do feel like Snuff Out is kind of a concern. But you can always snap your opponent's creatures as well, and you don't have to target your own Cloud of Fairies. I'm going to get rid of one Merchant Scroll. I think I'm going to do something that I hate in general, which is just skimming on everything. I'm going to get rid of one Medallion, one Spiral, one Desire. This is so bad. But I think it's probably correct. Like, the deck slots are just so tight here, and those are sort of our flexible options. Brutal. I don't think I actually like this. It's good against discard, but having an island that can be hit by their wastelands is kind of gross. We'll keep Polluted Delta, Underground Sea, and Ponder. You got it. They did not shuffle. Active Negation. I do think that's a decent draw. We'll cast Ponder. No second land that isn't the wastelandable land. I'm going to shuffle this. There we go. I want to hold on to this Mystic Sanctuary for as long as possible. Our opponent's playing a deck that has discard spells in it, and having the Bowmaster is fine. I don't care about that. Having the Sanctuary to get back a Mind's Desire later could be very, very important. They have 5 cards in hand. I think I'm going to disrespect them here and just play the Medallion. If it gets dazed, obviously that hurts, but like, what else am I doing here? They have the daze. Okay. Tough break. They replayed the Underground Sea into another Orcish Bowmasters. They have 4 left in hand. Draw for turn. It's another snap. I think we have to play the Sanctuary. Pass. We really need a Brainstorm to fix this hand, but they also have double Orcish Bowmasters. So I think they've likely won this game already. They attack for 4. We go to 10. Goodbye, Mystic Sanctuary. I knew I wanted to mulligan this hand. Alright, we're going to go to the next game. We're not coming back. Brutal. Actually, I just want to board out the Merchant Scrolls. Give me back my Sapphire Medallion. It's a card that makes our deck better. And then Desire 4. Let's do this. On the play for game 3. Yes. Keep. Alright, we're going to lead with Island into Ponder. That was good. We'll keep those on top. Protected away from discard spells. Pass the turn. Okay, they have a Polluted Delta. Play the Misty and pass. They're going to represent Orcish Bowmasters here. I'm fine with that. Like, we don't have to cast our Brainstorm. We can just sit here. Like, I like all of my cards. On their end step, though, I might cycle the Lorien Revealed. Are they just going to play a Bowmaster again? Looks like it. Alright, we will Brainstorm. Into Triple Force. Yeah, okay. We'll put 2 of those back. They can have Bowmasters. We don't care about that. And I think I actually want to fetch now. I don't know if these decks are on Opposition Agent, but it feels kind of free to play around. Okay. So if I don't cycle the Lorien Revealed, I have double backup next turn. Opponent casts Ponder. They did not. They chose not to shuffle. They play a Mystic Sanctuary. They have 6 cards in hand. Okay. We'll draw. Player land. Let's fetch. High Tide. Okay. Let's attempt a snap on the Bowmasters. And they're going to force. I will Pact a Negation. Snap. They force again. We will force back. They have 2 cards left. I mean, they can also just recast the Bowmaster. Snap again. 2 cards. Untap, untap. Spiral. So they do get to flash in Bowmasters here, but it would tap them out for the rest of the turn. They daze. We will pay. And they did not. Interesting. Okay. They have another counterspell here. We're in trouble. Play a Sapphire Medallion. And let's attempt to snap the Orc Army. And tap. So I have enough mana here to cast 2 Time Spirals, but I would lose the Force Daze. Well, there's the Force. That's not good. Okay, Spiral again. Wish this was a Desire. Ooh, it resolved. Wow. A little surprised by that. I thought for sure we were dead. Let's High Tide. And Ponder. There's a Desire. Mind's Desire for 16. There's exactly 1 card that I'm worried about here. And that card is Flusterstorm, but it doesn't look like they have it. This is a turn 4 win through triple Force of Will currently, and an Orcish Bowmasters. I wonder if they don't know if that High Tide is symmetrical. Play High Tide. Okay, they've had enough. We're 3-0. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. For round number 4, we're on the play, and we're facing Nevilleshoot, who is a Doomsday expert. This seems reasonable enough, we'll keep. Island into Ponder. Classic. Ideally, we would see, like, High Tide Cloud of Faeries. That's what we're really going for here. I think I'd also take a pair of High Tide. We'll keep and pass. Looks like our opponent is back. Blooded Strand. Okay. We know that we have another island underneath this fetch, so we're going to want to fetch here. One of your best cards in this matchup is actually just the Brain Freeze itself. We might have to be a little bit lucky in order to find it, though. Okay. They have 7 in hand. That could theoretically get the Brain Freeze, but then they know that we have it. So that's not ideal. I think instead I'm just going to Merchant Scroll for another Force of Will. They have a 3rd land, and they're passing. Another snap, okay. What I would do for a Cloud of Faeries here. Come on. They have a 4th land. Thoughtseize. I will fight over this. Pitch a snap. Force of Will. And it looks like they're willing to pass the turn. Sapphire Medallion. Okay, we'll play that. Pass the turn. In every matchup so far, our opponent has played a creature for us. That has not happened here. Ponder. And they did not shuffle on the Ponder. They have 7 in hand. That's a desire. So we currently have a desire for 3? It's only more if our opponent fights. And I don't know if they will. I think we're going to try it here. High Tide. Am I wrong? I'm actually wrong. The Dazed will pay. See if they'll give us any other resources here. I think I was wrong. Because this would have tapped for 2. And then I tied again floating 1. This taps for 3. I'd have 4 mana floating plus a Sapphire Medallion, which is short of casting either of these. That was just a play mistake there. I mean, we didn't, mess up too badly. Our opponent did burn a Daze. They replayed the Underground Sea. Okay. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. They played a land. They did. They played a land. We're going to allow this to resolve. Because they can't Cavern me this turn. And in hindsight, based on how this game is played out, having the Brain Freeze would have been great. Instead of this Force of Will. Obviously, that's a little bit biased, but like if they had followed up with another Thoughtseize, we would have felt really dumb for having Brain Freeze. Doomsday is resolved. Tendrils of Agony. So they're on their Citadel list. Or at least I assume they are. No, there's no Citadels. They're playing Dark Petitions today. We see 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will. There's 2 forces somewhere between their... Or there's a 3rd one down here. They cycle Edge of Autumn. We'll force the Thoughtseize. You have a main deck Veil? They do. Okay. They got me. We will concede. Maybe that was an aggressive concession. Maybe they would have passed the turn there. But I would have gotten Thoughtseized. I would have lost either my High Tide. No, we would have lost that. Bring in the Force of Negations. I wonder how crazy it is. And I mean, it's probably pretty insane. But I'm just going to talk out loud here. To board out the snaps in Cloud of Faeries. But then my only untap effect is the Time Spiral, which seems really sketchy. And that would give me Force of Will for protection and disruption. And then I'd have Force of Negation for protection. And then I guess Pact of Negation would be for protection. Force of Negation would be disruption. But I get to have it all. Or I can just board out Merchant Scroll, but Scroll finds Brain Freeze. But it's so telegraphed. And they did end up having Veil of Summer. So I don't even know how good that really is. Maybe we'll board down to like 2 snaps in case they have a shield dread in their sideboard. Maybe like 2 Pact of Negation. We'll get rid of 1 Sapphire Medallion. Let's try this. Okay. So Ponder needs to find land 2, and then the rest of our hand is super clunky. Mulligan. So we have the freeze. We would need them to just like Ritual Doomsday. Get rid of Lorien Revealed, actually, or the Snap. We'll get rid of Lorien Revealed. Flooded Strand pass. Lotus Petal. Ponder, yep. Scalding Tarn. I'm just going to jam the Medallion here. If they have a turn 2, they have a turn 2. Okay, good sign. They search out an Underground Sea. Brutal. Okay, so we're about to lose our Brain Freeze. They take Brainstorm instead. Okay. And they Ponder. They did not shuffle off Ponder. Spiral. We can't cast it. We have to pass. This is a matchup where I would have liked to have Flusterstorms in my sideboard. They have land 3. We find Brainstorm. That's definitely a card I want to cast here. Get rid of the Snap. And a Spiral. Ponder. We found the 3rd land, which was great. Pass the turn. They Brainstorm. Let's fetch. I don't need another Time Spiral. High Tide. Brainstorm again. Jeez, these snaps, I cannot seem to get rid of them. We are Brainstorm locked. I guess by keeping High Tide in hand, I could... No, I can't pay for Pact. The 5 is not reduced by Sapphire Medallion. Okay, we have to pass. I have 8 forces in my deck, and I've drawn both packs. I've also redrawn Snap after shuffling it away. Not feeling too optimistic about how this game plays out. They just draw and pass. We'll do the same. They have land 4. So now we're about to draw the High Tide, but we still can't win. I guess the only upside here... No, that doesn't work either. Ignore me. No upside. We're just running cold. They play their 5th land. And it looks like they're passing back, so we will get a chance here. A lot of Faeries is actually pretty great. Let's cast the High Tide. If they daze, we will gladly pay. They force pitching force. I will attempt a Pact of Negation. High Tide. And I am dead to Flusterstorm. Okay, so that's a bummer. We're 3-1. 1 match left to go. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting your own Magic events with features such as easy-to-create event registration for 4-player and one-on-one Swiss-based games. Event management has never been so simple, and it's done on the web. No downloads are required. You can sign up for $5 by visiting eminence.events/subscribe. The final round, we're on the play. Let's finish this with a 4-1. I'd like that. This hand is great. We will keep. And in the deck tech, I talked about how there will be some games that you don't need a High Tide. This is one of those hands where you don't necessarily need High Tide in order to storm off. We will play Scalding Tarn and pass the turn. Urborg, another black deck. Okay. You draw Brainstorm. We're going to put a Sapphire Medallion on the table here. Fetch, fetch. You might be saying, why fetch? Well, our opponent could be a Wasteland deck, and if I tap my fetch lands in order to cast a Sapphire Medallion and then get Wastelanded, I'm not in a great spot. So I'm choosing to lose my Brainstorm equity to not lose to a card that our deck is built to be resilient against. Troll of Khazad-dûm. They grab a basic Swamp. Thoughtseize. So we're probably losing our Mind's Desire here, unfortunately. They take Brainstorm. That's interesting. So if I draw an island, we can cast Desire next turn. They play their Swamp that they searched out. Ah, they had another Thoughtseize. Brutal. They go after Cloud of Faeries here. There's no respect to Mind's Desire. Okay. Hopefully we can teach them a lesson. Another Sapphire Medallion. Play 1 and pass. Pretty soon this Desire will just cost blue. So if they... they had a Grief. Okay. I was going to say, if they play a creature this turn, like, I don't know, Dothy Voidwalker or Reanimate the Troll, we could, if we drew a land, we could play Sapphire Medallion, snap into Desire, but that's not an option anymore. And we drew the land. Unfortunate. We'll play the Sapphire Medallion. Bowmasters, I don't care about that. Or even just a Bowmaster. Like, if we still had Desire here, we could have Desired. Our best draw at this point is likely the Time Spiral. They play an Agadeem's Awakening here, but it's the... Oh no, it's not Agadeem's Awakening. This is a card I haven't seen yet. So when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. Taps for a black, and then 2 mana. Choose target player with the most life or tied for the most life. That creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. So it gives their creatures unblockable. So the idea is that they make themselves lose a bunch of life using Thoughtseize and Reanimates and stuff like that, and then their creatures are unblockable. Sanctuary, a huge draw here. So we're able to put Desire on top of our deck. Opposition Agent's a little annoying. So I have to snap here. And tap and tap. Alright, so we're really going for a miracle here. We're putting Desire on top. And then off this Desire for 1, we need to hit Time Spiral. Pretty much the only way that we win. I suppose I could also wait a turn cycle and try to draw another spell. They main phase the Opposition Agent. They have 1 card in hand. They attack for 2. So if I wait a turn, hypothetically, let's just do the math. I take 5 and then Spiral is shut off. So I actually just have to cast the Spiral now. Or the Desire now. Alright, mine's Desire for 1. I did not think that would happen this league. Ooh, Lorien revealed. So I'll take 3. I have not played a land, but there's an Op Agent in play, so I can't... This doesn't do anything. Am I dead? So I go to 9, and then they have 8 damage. So they do not have lethal. I can try to win next turn, but I'm not allowed to draw cards. Yeah, we're definitely not in a good spot. And their last card was another Thoughtseize. Sure, you can... I guess in theory I could draw another Mind's Desire. Their last card in hand was a Shadow. So either their last card last turn was a Shadow or a Thoughtseize. It was probably the Shadow, and then they drew the Thoughtseize if I had to guess. Merchant Scroll I don't think does anything. We don't have an Intuition. Intuition could theoretically... No, because we've already used 2 Desires. Yeah, just doesn't work. A lot of discard out of them. I think I'm just going to resubmit. I think we're already sort of like pseudo pre-boarded. Alright. On the play. Yeah, this seems terrific. We'll keep. So far, we've seen Thoughtseize, Grief, Opposition Agent, Bowmasters. Like, this is a tough matchup. But it is certainly winnable. I love those. We'll keep. Pass the turn. Urborg. And Thoughtseize. They go after the Brainstorm, which I'm okay with. I don't think the Brainstorm is a card I ultimately care about. I'd rather have all the cards there. So if they don't have another discard spell, we can go off next turn. I guess I would also need them to not have any removal. So, a little unlikely. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Another Desire. So let's just talk this through. This is exactly 5, assuming our opponent doesn't have a Bowmaster. Let's cast Cloud of Faeries. Triggers. This brings us back up to 3. We'll cast Snap. They know that we have another Snap in hand. And they did have the Bowmasters. Ah. Unfortunate. I think that's going to stop me here. Yeah. I was really hoping that they had Opposition Agent, and now I'm stuck with double Desire in hand. I should have just passed. Okay, we're going to let the Cloud of Faeries die. Pass the turn. I should have been more patient. It's just that with drawing the second Desire, I was like, if they discard spell me, I'm not going to be able to do anything for a long time if they take the Cloud of Faeries, so I decided to push. Obviously, I was punished, but we saw a lot of discard spells in Game 1. So if we draw a High Tide, can we do anything? Force of Will will pass. So High Tide, Snap, Floating 1 does give us a Desire, so High Tide is our best draw right now. Opposition Agent, that's fine. I'm not going to Force Will that. Now they're attacking for 5. We go to 11. Reanimate on my Cloud of Faeries. Okay. So if I snap Cloud of Faeries, that actually makes a mana for me now. Sure. Gothy Voidwalker, that's fine. Come on, deck. Please give me a land or a high tide here. Pretty please. They're all tapped out. Nope. I think we just missed our window. So I could... This Lurian Revealed needed to be a real land. And also, we don't want to cycle it because there's an opposition agent in play. 1, 2, 5, 12 damage coming in. So if I snap the Cloud of Faeries, I make 1 mana. Play Cloud of Faeries, I'm just 1 short of Mind's Desire. And if I don't cast the snap, I'm dead. I think our opponent just has us here. I guess the only way that I could possibly win this... No, I can't bounce the Bowmasters because then they have lethal anyway. I was thinking that maybe next turn I rip Brainstorm, but Brainstorm isn't an option anymore either. So I think like I almost have to bounce the Death Shadow, and then they attack me for 9. I go to 2, and then I can't do anything. There's no card that gets me out of this. I had to draw one of my 4 basic islands, or a High Tide here. So I had 10 hits, and I just missed. Another snap, or another Cloud of Faeries or a snap might have done it as well. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to concede. I'm wasting time. So we started out really hot. We started out 3-0, and then we kind of just lost out. We faced a really good player on a bad matchup, which is Doomsday. And then we faced a deck with a ton of interaction. And, well, let's be honest, I was overly aggressive in game 2 and it cost us. So, kind of a bummer. I still think that this is the best version of High Tide, Mind's Desire, and Legacy. I think Snap Cloud of Faeries is so much better than Turnabout, and it really allows you to play a faster, more storm-based game into your Mind's Desires, which is what we want to do, and you saw that in the first 3 matches. I think that match 4 could have been winnable with a different sideboard. And then in match 5, it was really my own fault. That's my 2 cents. So I think the Force of Negation, Pact of Negation sideboard didn't really work. I think we probably want some Fluster Storms. I built a sideboard to beat other combo decks. So between Leyline of the Void and Force of Negation, those are both great against other combos. So things like Reanimator or Storm in general right now, I think that both of these shine. We didn't get those matchups. Instead, we faced Doomsday and a bunch of black decks today. So that's the way Legacy happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get, it's a wide open format and people are playing whatever they want right now. So you can't really expect to face anything at the moment. So, all right, that's enough of me rambling. I hope you appreciated the video, and thanks for watching. Have a great day and keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.